Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Quantum Leap. I'm your host, Toyin Umesiri, author of Mindset of an Entrepreneur. What I want to bring you today is very powerful. It's going to change your world, your business, okay? I'm going to be talking about leadership skills for entrepreneurs. Leadership skills for entrepreneurs. The first thing I want you to know is that sales is a test of your leadership. Sales is one of those skills that many people struggle with because sales requires full development. It requires self-actualization. It requires you to develop yourself inside and out because it's the totality of who you are that people believe in. Someone they can trust, someone they can like, someone they can follow, someone that they can take action based on the person's words. And many people they never develop themselves to such a level where they can be transparent, an open book, right? Such that people can read you, understand you, believe you, trust you, and then take the action that you are encouraging them or challenging them to take. It requires years and years and years and years of training yourself to become such a person that when you speak or when you share or when you present a message, people naturally believe and take the actions because they trust you. They trust that the information you are presenting to them will lead them to a destination that is of positive advantage to them. Are you such a person? Do you want to be such a person? Are you ready to become such a person? So sales, it tests your leadership skills. It tests you. It's a test. Because if you want to be able to sell, you're gonna need to be calm. You're gonna need to carry the stories that help other people believe that it can be more. You're going to need to carry stories and present stories that makes the world move forward, achieve goals that they cannot achieve by themselves. No matter what you're selling, products, services, the world is governed by this. People have to believe in you, and believing in you is believing the stories that you're carrying within you. And one of the ways people can improve their sales skill is to first drop the stories of negativity. Because people don't follow unless you want to take people off the cliff into negativity. Then those who want to destructive stories sell to destructive people. But I'm not going, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about progress. We're talking about health, wealth, higher levels of life. Is that you can only take people on a journey you have already taken yourself. You can only lead people on a journey to a place that you have arrived. You can only help people believe and take actions based on belief if you are the kind of person that have already taken those actions. That's what we're searching for. Because when there's a disconnect in a story, if you carry a story that is inconsistent with your personality, there's no congruence, and people call this lie, right? This is what we label lie. But many people don't do this intentionally. If you doubt, but you're asking people to have confidence in you, there's no consistent energetic alignment. You repel people. Because being true to who you are, emotionally, intellectually, physically, spiritually, that's where alignment is. When we say soul, spiritual, physical alignment, is that leadership is when you say what you mean and you mean what you say and you become what you say. You and your message, you're one and the same. Many people carry a message that they are not living out in themselves, right? Those are actors, right? We watch Hollywood, we watch movies. We know they're actors though. But when it comes to business, we're asking, what you're acting, is it your real life? What you're presenting, right? Is it true? We just want to know, right? Because we know actors are acting and we enjoy them acting. But when it comes to business, we're looking for truth. Are you just acting or are you living the truth? So it's part of leadership. And leadership is one of a very complex topic, but I'll just unpack a few things, right? Leadership skills encompasses your communication skills, how you transfer information to other people, helping them understand. It's not just a one way, right? You can share things, but do they understand? Do you help them comprehend? How do they process the information, right, that you are presenting? How does it land? Do you care enough to actually develop the skills that your message resounds in people's hearts and mind positively? That's a skill. And this skill requires you for your own message to land within you first. So this is where inner work comes in, is that, do you believe yourself? Do you have confidence in your own words? Do you trust the efficacy of everything you're sharing? Have you done the work to make sure that the messages within you land with peace, land with joy, land with high vibration? Because if you present the same message and you communicate it out in the world, what is it going to do to them energetically? How do people feel? What emotion is it going to create? It's likely to create the same thing it has created in you. So one of the tools is to process your emotions, to make sure you feel good about what you're selling. Not just good, great, right? You believe what you're saying, because when you believe what you're saying, you're confident that it's going to achieve what it is you say it's going to achieve. And that transfers in your sales process. So those who cannot achieve that within themselves, they're going to struggle, because what's going on inside you is what you're transferring to the world. So communication skill is huge. How you pass on, right? What information are you processing within you? How do you communicate it to the world? How are they going to process it? What is it going to do in them? And what is it going to inspire them to become? What action would they take because of your communication, what you're transferring? Okay, because that's where energetic, right? Our energetic side of us, when we process information, there's reactivity, chemical reactivity. Hormones are released in our system and they have biological implications. They release hormones, and when those hormones land on our cells, what does it do to our physiology? That's emotions, right? Is that how do we react and respond when we're processing the information you're presenting? Do they do good things for us? So sales is a test of your leadership skills. It's also a test of your character. Why do I say that? Because who do you become when people don't do what you want them to do? When you don't have your way? Okay? That's a test, because every time you try to test, when people say no, 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 it tests you. Would you keep going? Would you keep believing? Would you keep trusting? Because sales weeds people off, right? People who do not have the character to keep believing that there's somebody out there that needs what it is that they have, and that they cannot give up just because people are not responding or taking the action immediately. Only believers, right, ever succeed in sales. Because the journey to finding the people that you are here to serve, the journey to bringing your message to the community you're here to serve, that journey tests your character. If you're going to give up on those journey, on your purpose, right? So sales tests your character. Sales will also test your intention. It will test what you believe. It will test your behavior. So ultimately, this is where personal development and growing your capacity will help you sell more. Because I believe once you've been tested and you pass the test, that's actually when naturally you become somebody that does sales better. Sales process is trying to grow you. And so I encourage my students to stay in that process. If it's not working, it's because you have to grow more. You have to self-actualize. There are certain things within you have to process. There's certain skills you need to develop. You need to become somebody that people can trust, people can listen to, people can take action based on your words. So, can you get other people to believe you? So, just some reflection, self reflection, as I'll start wrapping up. Can you get others to believe you? Yes. Can you get them to trust you? Can you get them to follow your instructions and your directions, your will and your way? Right? Because ultimately, when you can lead yourself to do the things that you're supposed to do, it becomes easier to lead other people. Because if you are privately a procrastinator, most of those energetic stuff will show up when you're trying to also get people to take action. If you are not somebody that seizes the moment and take action in the moment, right, then the people you attract, they're always going to be like you. But if you are somebody that do not procrastinate, then you're going to also attract people who are ready to take action. But if privately, your character, your personality is somebody, right, you will attract the person that you are in sales. So people around you always reflect what you believe, who you are. And so sales always challenges you to become more, to self-actualize, because that's where you can start attracting people who take action, people who want results, people who are serious to shift their world into a better world. Because those are the people who spend money, people who have a strong value system, people who have self-respect, people who understand value, right? People who value time, people who value energy. They're the ones that invest in saving time, saving money, and achieving results faster. So if you want to attract decision makers, people who can buy because they understand the value things that can provide for them, then you have to become that person as well to attract such people. So part of self-leadership is also then understanding yourself. How do you make decisions, right? Where do you get your information from? How do you form beliefs? When you are faced with information, what energy do you use to process them? Right? When you don't have your way, who do you become? Right? Do you have the patience to keep listening to people? How do you form your conclusions about what you are experiencing or observing when other people, right, are also communicating back with you? So this is so important because your own psychological state, your own emotional state, your own beliefs, your own thoughts, your own behaviors is what drives, okay, how other people respond and react to you as well. So I want to leave you with this thought that when you work on yourself and you grow, your business will grow as well. So keep working on the inner side of becoming more of who you're meant to be. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Quantum Leap. I'm your host, Toyin Umesiri. In my school, they call me Coach Toyin. You're welcome to find out more information on my website. I invite you to join me and see what we have going at toyinumesiri.com. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Quantum Leap. See you again next time. Bye for now.